Hey, what's up everyone? Today I'm going to be working on wiring these little ficus. This one, so these ficus are, some of them are cuttings from about a year ago. They grow really nicely here if I keep them in a greenhouse and outside during the summer. But this one's already been wired. This is basically kind of what I'm going to do today. And if you see, there's a couple of silver wires on there, it's aluminum. And then there's actually some curvy branches in there that were wired last time. So what I've kind of done is taken this was a shoot that came out basically at the base of the previously wired section. So I went ahead and wired that. And I expect that that might continue to happen. So I'm just gonna wire them and then I might cut them off later. All right, so this one has never been wired. The trunk is relatively straight. This one has been wired once previously, but there's not a whole lot of movement in the trunk, so I'm gonna go ahead and rewire it, and I'm gonna wire some of these branches. I've got this wired up, and whenever you're wiring a trunk for the first time like this tree is established in this container, and so I've stuck the wire down into the soil right here and then wrapped it around the trunk. Now, sometimes when I do this, I go to try to bend the tree and the wire separates from the trunk right here at the base, and that has to do with the direction that you bend the trunk. So you have to think that the trunk is going to want to spring back in the direction back to, like, it's basically what is an upright form here. So if I bend the trunk this way, right, then it's going to want to bend back this way, and this loop is going to be prone to separating from where it's at right now because it's just going down in the soil. It's not firmly anchored. So instead of bending it this way, I should bend it either at a 90-degree angle to that, or this way, or the complete opposite direction, so that this coil of the wire is being pushed against that trunk. Now, because there's already a little bit of a curve right here going down to the nabari, I don't actually want to kind of straighten that out by bending the trunk this way. So I'm going to go ahead and bend it kind of away from the camera as it sits right now. I'm also kind of twisting it a little bit as I bend, and if you're allergic to latex, I'm not sure you want to be working with ficus, because you can see where it's split right here, that it's already bleeding sap, and kind of anywhere I knock a leaf, it tends to bleed sap. But the good thing is that these guys are super flexible, like they're made out of rubber. And so you can get some, even on a, kind of a, what is this, about a 1/4-inch trunk, I can get some pretty good movement. And with the bending here, what I'm trying to do mostly is just introduce movement into the branching so that I don't end up with any trunk section that's straight if these guys get bigger and I want to use them as part of the trunk. Like if I was going to make a semi-cascade or something like that, I can make an informal upright out of this. So I'm going to go ahead and just bend the rest of these that I have wired, and Then I'll set this aside to grow for probably 6 months, or maybe less if it's on turbo in the greenhouse. And then I'll come back and revisit it. Now, what's going to happen here typically, it seems like, is that if I leave this pointing upward, that'll take off, it'll be the strongest, or it'll send out a new bud from somewhere down here, trying to kind of avoid this this movement that I've put into it. So you got to kind of keep an eye on them. I'm going to go ahead and add one more wire to this. All right, all of those are bent over now. You can kind of see it looks like I smashed it, but I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm not cutting off any branches today. I'm just sort of spreading things out and preventing them from being straight. So with young material like this is frequently what I do, because leaving all of the foliage on there encourages it to bulk up as quickly as possible. If I went and cut off a bunch of branches, that's just going to slow it down and it'll rebud maybe back where I don't want it to quite yet. So when you're working on young stuff, see what results you get if you try this. Thanks. See you next time.